Hi everybody, Dave Kenny, the Food Dude here, and with George Lang. Special guest is Bryan Hearn, Curator from Oklahoma City Museum of Art. We're here today to talk about the first ever and hopefully long-standing Foodie Film Festival.
Yes. Absolutely.
It'll be a lot of fun. So one day George and I were talking about film and food.
That's right, and some of our favorite scenes in films.
Yes.
And the fact is that there's so much creativity that goes into film, film and food, and some of the best scenes, some of our favorite scenes in film history involve dinner tables and the creation of great cuisine.
That's right. That's right. And the filmmaking process, the food process. Mm-hmm. So we're doing what we usually do, stopping each other from working to wax poetic about all this stuff.
Why not?
So in the middle of all this, I said, why don't I'm going to email Leslie Spears right now, see if she'd be interested. Fast forward, you and I sit down, and now we have the Foodie Film.
Yes, it was just kind of waiting for those movies to appear too, that fit the theme, and you're reminding me of actually my first film series at the museum in 1995 was food and film, and it was Tom Jones was the kickoff.
Yes,
which
famous. Yeah.
Hard to beat that. Right,
so here we
are again.
Mm-hmm. And now September 15th is when it all begins.
Right.
And tell us, how are we going to start this thing?
Well, we've got kind of two things going on. We've got 3 films over the weekend that'll show Thursday through Sunday. And then we also have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night a craft beer, artisan cheese, and food tasting. And this is something that is sort of a collaboration between Forward Foods and the Museum Cafe, who will be providing the food. The cheese, of course, comes from Forward Foods. It's pretty fantastic.
Always a great thing.
And the best things in life will be there.
Yeah, that's right. Just bring your loved ones, and it's all there. Yep. And then the craft beers from Premium Beers of Oklahoma. They have Red Hook Brewery based out of Seattle, and most of the beers will be from Red Hook, and one from Widmer Brothers, which I believe is Portland based. But there'll be a variety of beer styles, and maybe you've got some of the menu items. I know ribs are on there, baby back ribs.
We have some ribs. We have some, what else do we have here? Oh, grilled plum marinated pork tenderloins. Yeah, that'll be great. We've got crab cake there one day, chicken roulade. So all kinds of very beautiful, delicious foods, but recognizable. Sometimes it's, just like with films, you can get to a point with food where you don't recognize it anymore. Another tie-in, but these are very approachable foods, and the guys at the Museum Cafe do a fantastic job.
They do, and I hope people will be surprised by the cheeses because they're not as well known, perhaps, to American audiences. There's a variety of cheeses, and Forward Foods, they have a lot of experience like pairing with beers.
They do.
It should be pretty
3 times
interesting.
a month they do pairings with beer or wine or something, or classes. Just recently went to one, very informative and delicious. Best kind of class.
Yes.
So now what are we going to be watching?
Well, we'll kick it off with a documentary called El Bulli, which is about really one of the greatest chefs in the world, Ferran Adrià, and he's from Barcelona, and he has this restaurant that's now closed, but this guy is he's taken sort of the taste of food to a new level. I mean, he's a true artist. I mean, he would be, in the art world, he would be an avant-garde artist for sure, because this guy is boiling flavors down and having dinners with 35 courses and things of that nature. So it's amazing to watch him work.
Well, and he would close down his restaurant for 6 months out of the year to experiment, right?
Exactly, yes. Just him and his crew, they have a test kitchen basically where they'll cook a sweet potato 20 different ways and turn it into foam and
reconstitute it back into a sweet potato.
Right.
Yeah, I know for a fact, every chef in town is going to be at the theater this weekend or for the festival to see this, because in the culinary world, he is sort of that outlier at the top of the pyramid who does the things that no one else has time to do or resources to do or creativity to do.
That's true.
So anything that Adria is on, I'm all about. So I'm very excited to see this.
Well, and just his whole sense of delight in food, and just it's very much a sensual thing, which is not surprising, but he just really takes it. He's all about surprise and sort of showing you something with your tongue that you didn't know could be done,
Right.
So it's just the only hard part about that one is getting to taste his food,
I know.
really makes you want to experience it. And
We apologize in advance that the restaurant is closed.
El Bulli is closed, but
No samples available.
no.
Yeah.
But the guys at the cafe will do their darndest, I'm sure.
Yes,
So.
yes.
Right. Now, talk a little bit about Soul Kitchen then.
Yeah, so this is a German film. It came out a couple years ago. It's a real, I would call it a crowd pleaser. It has a killer soundtrack of like soul music, but it's basically about a family-run restaurant in Germany. And it's an immigrant family, Greek family that's running it, and it's by a Turkish director actually, Fatih Akin, who's really one of Germany's best directors right now. But it's basically about these brothers trying to keep this restaurant open, and they get this really trendy chef to come in and mix things up and try to get people interested in their restaurant again. And it starts working with a very hilarious chef in this film. So. It's a comedy. It's a lot of fun. It has a great music.
Sounds like a story that's been told many times in the restaurant world too.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, restaurant people will get all the inside baseball on it.
Exactly. Now the next one is The Trip, and this is the one that I'm really excited about. Now this was originally a series that Michael Winterbottom directed, and it was 6 parts, and they edited it down into a movie. And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Michael Winterbottom will be familiar to Oklahomans from his last film, which he shot in Oklahoma, The Killer Inside Me.
Exactly.
And but here he's going in a totally different direction. He shot road movies before, but here he brings together 2 terrific comedians, Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, who are sort of always at each other's throats, and they go on this restaurant tour all over England, fine dining restaurants, and let's just say that Rob was not his first choice as a traveling companion. But fortunately for us, we get to enjoy their brilliant dueling impressions that they do. I think you've seen some of those clips, right?
Michael Caine, they do Hugh Grant, I believe.
Al Pacino.
Yes, and they are amazing.
Yeah, they really are good. Woody Allen gets spoofed in there. I mean, these guys are all over the place, and they're eating and learning about life and all that good stuff.
It's kind of interesting how, it was originally done in My Dinner with Andre, 2 guys sitting there talking, but they're
one of my favorites.
It's great.
And they're talking about the different phases that they're at in their careers.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
Which is quite hilarious. I mean, they're playing themselves basically. I mean, that's how it
Heightened
works.
versions of themselves.
Very much so. But you can imagine how much fun it would be to dine with those guys.
Oh my gosh.
They're just,
so we kind of get to virtually. We get to.
Yeah. 12 times.
That's
actually.
right, 12 times.
In about
well, you could count at 13
minutes.
if you come in and have some food first.
Exactly.
So it's like you've eaten, they're eating, just a little off track.
And that's one of the fun things about this, that the cafe was offering the tastings on 3 different nights. So we are selling those separately, so you can buy a ticket to the tasting on, say, Thursday or Friday or Saturday, and catch the movies on another night if you want, or do both. You can do it all. So you got options.
Very good. Options are good.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else we need to know about the festival?
Well, we've got some giveaways that we're going to have before every screening, all edible, hopefully, with some of our partners like Slow Food OKC and Forward Foods I mentioned, and the Museum Cafe. So yeah, you can't go wrong. I mean, definitely want to enjoy the food and in the movies.
Absolutely.
I'll be there.
It's a great new tradition. Hopefully we'll be doing this for years on end.
Help us.
So, yeah.
All right, so it starts September 15th. The tastings go through the 17th, and one more showing on the 18th.
Yes, of El Bulli.
We'll see you there.
Thanks.